Hi, I'm Sharon from Limitless-horizon, and this is the third devotional video in our Deborah Bible Study series. Today, we're going to look at knowing that each one of us has a unique and individual calling in God's kingdom. Remember, there are additional resources and free Bible study questions that accompany these videos that you can find on the Limitless Horizon website by following the link in the comments. So the next part of our story is found in Judges chapter 4, verse 11 to 17, and we'll read that to begin.
Now Heber the Kenite had left the other Kenites, the descendants of Hobab, Moses' brother-in-law, and pitched his tent by the great tree in Sananim, near Kadesh. When they told Sisera that Barak son of Abinoam had gone up to Mount Tabor, Sisera summoned from Harosheth Hagoyim to the Kishon River all his men and his 900 chariots fitted with iron. Then Deborah said to Barak, "Go, this is the day the Lord has given Sisera into your hands. Has not the Lord gone ahead of you?" So Barak went down Mount Tabor with 10,000 men following him. At Barak's advance, the Lord routed Sisera and all his chariots and army by the sword, and Sisera got down from his chariot and fled on foot. Barak pursued the chariots and army as far as Harosheth Hagoyim, and all Sisera's troops fell by the sword. Not a man was left. Sisera, meanwhile, fled on foot to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, because there was an alliance between Jabin, king of Hazar, and the family of Heber the Kenite.
Okay, so we'll have a quick recap of where we are in Judges chapter 4, that the Israelites had drifted away from God, and for over 20 years they'd been oppressed by King Jabin of Canaan, until finally they cried out to God for help. Deborah was the prophetess. She was the judge and leader of Israel at this time, and so she receives a word from God in response to the people's cries for help, that she's to send for Barak of Naphtali, and he's to raise an army of 10,000 men to take on Sisera, who's King Jabin's army commander. And they are to go to Mount Tabor, ready for battle. Deborah goes with them. But now we're introduced to a new character in the story, Heber the Kenite, who had moved from the south of the country to the north. And as the story progresses, we're told why, that Heber had formed an alliance with King Jabin. You see, for a man to move his family, to leave his clan and his tribe, and to move from one end of the country to the other, there would have to be a good reason. The clue is that the Kenites were a clan of metal workers, and King Jabin had an army with 900 chariots made of iron. So there would be a demand for a metal worker at King Jabin's army base. So Heber had not only left his clan and his tribe, but he'd switched allegiance because the Kenites had been allied with Israel from the time of Moses. And suddenly Heber had allied himself instead with King Jabin of Canaan. So Deborah and Barak with his 10,000 men are assembled on Mount Tabor, ready for battle. And Sisera, who couldn't really miss what was going on because the assembling and gathering of such a large army would have been very visible and everybody would have known what was going on, he responds by coming with his chariots to the Kishon River. The site is set for battle, and the battle is the Lord's. He has got the plan. Sisera thought he'd chosen a strategic site where his chariots would have room to maneuver and he would have the advantage. But he didn't realize that God would fight on Israel's behalf, that God would call on the power of his creation to defeat the enemy of Israel. God was faithful and true to his word, and he gave Barak a decisive victory against an opposing powerful army. Sisera, the commander, however, escaped on foot. He ran away. He abandoned the site of the battle. He abandoned his men, and he arrived exhausted at the tent of Heber's wife, Jael. Sisera, knowing that she was Heber's wife, saw this as a safe place with an ally, a place to rest and recover. And God's word, spoken through Deborah, that the honor of defeating Sisera would be given to a woman, was about to be fulfilled. So we'll read on, Judges chapter 4, verse 18 to 24.
Jael went out to meet Sisera and said to him, "Come, my lord, come right in. Don't be afraid." So he entered her tent, and she covered him with a blanket. "I'm thirsty," he said. "Please give me some water." She opened a skin of milk, gave him a drink, and covered him up. "Stand in the doorway of the tent," he told her. "If someone comes by and asks you, 'Is anyone in there?' say no." But Jael, Heber's wife, picked up a tent peg and a hammer and went quietly to him while he lay fast asleep, exhausted. She drove the peg through his temple into the ground, and he died. Just then, Barak came by in pursuit of Sisera, and Jael went out to meet him. "Come," she said, "I will show you the man you're looking for." So he went in with her, and there lay Sisera with a tent peg through his temple, dead. On that day, God subdued Jabin, king of Canaan, before the Israelites, and the hand of the Israelites pressed harder and harder against Jabin, king of Canaan, until they destroyed.
So takeaway thoughts. Our calling is individual and unique. I love the way that God weaves together his plan and purpose and brings in individuals. We can reflect that it's a privilege to serve God and know that our calling is unique. Deborah, Barak, and Jael all had an individual part to play, a role that was unique to them and made a difference to the lives of their families and communities and the nation of God's people. God has placed each one of us, yes, and you, where we are for a reason. There are possibilities for each one of us to make a difference in God's kingdom. And all it takes is a heart committed to God.
For the eyes of the Lord range throughout the earth to strengthen those whose hearts are fully committed to him. 2 Chronicles chapter 16 and verse 9. The fourth and final devotional video in our Deborah Bible Study series is called Deborah, Worshippers Are Warriors. And I hope that you'll join me there. Now remember, you can find the free Bible study questions and additional resources that go with these videos at the Limitless Horizon website, and the links are in the comments. So if you enjoyed this short reflection, I'd love for you to engage by adding a thumbs up or a comment, or even subscribing to this channel so that you see the latest videos. Thank you for listening and for watching, and God bless your day.